Hi, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the honor, the praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered abroad. All right, this is the brother Barazal here with a lesson, and Lord willing, it's edifying. All right, so this is a lesson. Just not sure what I'm going to title it yet, but just pretty much going into the importance of staying strong in the faith, right? Not veering off to your own doctrine, right? Not veering off from what you were taught, all right? Not being in a spirit that you haven't cleansed to leaven out your spirit, or you're not fully transformed, right? Because you're gonna be found out, man. All right, the Lord is gonna spew you from out of His mouth, right? And the main thing that's or one of the things that brothers have been going into is the guy, I guess he was formerly with the brothers down in Louisiana. Don't know too much about the guy, not too familiar with him, but he ended up going with those New Covenant guys, and we know they are a bunch of bug outs. And what pretty much happened is they all split up, went their separate ways, and each one of them did their own bugged out thing, man. All right, and everything is being found out about these guys, man. All right, everybody's seeing that these guys is going the wrong path. All right, it's just been a downward spiral. All right, and not just those guys, the New Covenant, but we just seeing the judgment of the Lord go out to these different Israelites, that wasn't in the right spirit, right? Another example, you got the guy Alizar. All right, he pretty much he's pretty much out the truth at this point, and he was put on public display. The guy who was on the news vandalizing the church, right, part of the New Covenant crew, or whatever you want to say. All right, he's been publicly displayed to get his judgment. All right, and that's all from the doing of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man. Going to show you that these guys ain't right. All right, and this is the book of Matthew 12:43. It says, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, walketh he through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Then he saith, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. Yeah, the guys who, fall out of the truth, go back into the world. All right. Verse 45, it says, then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation. Yeah, so if you fall out of the truth, you go out of the way that you're supposed to go while you in the truth. All right, you veer off from the path, you veer off, from the straight gate. All right, you're gonna get them demons on you, man. All right, you see a lot of these guys who fall out of the truth, or go out and do their own thing with their own separate doctrine. These guys ain't around. These guys get judged. All right, some have been put to death. Some went to jail. Some just they you can see that the Lord just judged them, man. And that guy who was on the news for vandalizing the churches, he was claiming he was Yahushua, black him out in his mouth, man. All right, look like he's on some type of drugs. All right, and that all happened, when he stopped coming out, man. You know, when he got, excommunicated, you see. So that's why it's a very scary thing to fall out the truth, man. All right, because you see how bugged out, these different individuals get. All right. And to take this thing serious. All right, because if you don't, all right, the Lord gonna get you too, man. All right, and I'm speaking to myself first, because it's gonna be more people from GMS that fall out, man. I just pray, and hope that the Lord keeps my faith. You see, because we're seeing the result of what happens, to these different people who fall out, man. We'll have a problem against the brothers, the elders and apostles of GMS have a problem with order. You see, come out of nowhere with different, doctrines that we weren't taught. All right. And you see the result of it. All right. 2 Timothy 4:1, I charge thee, therefore, before Yahweh and the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing in his kingdom. Preach the word, be instant and in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. Yeah, and that's what we do. All right. We got to constantly mark these guys, be instant, in season, out of season, stay on fire. All right, because we know that, the time at hand, we know the Lord ain't playing around. And we can see that the Lord, he's taking the spirit, the Holy Spirit out of these different individuals, man. Verse 3, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and they shall be turned into fables. Yeah, kind. All right, saying that we fully in the new covenant. Yet you out here, doing madness like that, black and mild in your mouth, vandalizing churches. All right, saying that, you Yahushua, you see? And you can tell these dudes is bugged out, man. And the other guys, you haven't heard from them in months, which they may pop up again. But either way, we haven't heard from you in months, man. So you're not on fire. All right. And the Lord ain't dealing with you anyway. All right. Because you chose to not just to go out and do your own thing, but to make a so-called ministry, just straight. All you're doing is going against, GMS. You see? So you just some salty niggas, man. All right. You got kicked out the camp for being wicked, got a bad taste in your mouth. So now all you do is go against the elders and apostles. You see? Psalms 51:10, create in me a clean heart, O Yahweh, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Yeah, kind of. We see the result of the Lord taking the spirit off of these different people, man. All right. That's why it's a scary thing to fall out the truth. The scriptures say it is a fearful thing, to fall into the hands of the Most High, man. All right. And we see the result of, these different people, that used to be a part of GMS or followed GMS, and they turn out to be the biggest demons, man, because they fell out the truth. All right. After knowing the truth. All right. And just fell out, just lost the faith, man. All right. It's Amos 9:9. It says, for lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. And, we in that sifting period. All right. The Lord is sifting, who got the truth. All right. And not only that, the Lord is sifting, who's a part of his elect. or not. The Lord is sifting, who's going to overcome till the end and who going to fall out, man. All right. And, we've been seeing a lot of that happen, man. One of the biggest sifting seasons, is the Passover. But overall, we're seeing as we, coming more and more, to the day of the Lord, to the end of the end, we seeing more bug outs, man. More people coming against the truth. All right. More people falling out the truth. All right. So that's why it's important, that we hold fast, that we overcome and endure until the end, man. All right. And even then, we still got Jacob's trouble. They didn't even make it to Jacob's trouble, man. To the hour of temptation. It's still, more that we have to do, in order to, Lord's will, make our calling and election sure. You see, we got the famine of the word that's coming soon. We got people getting arrested, right, for making certain comments on YouTube and such. So that they're going to come after the prophet soon. All right. So you can't be out here, playing games, having second thoughts, because we at the end, man. You see? But, that'll do it with the lesson. And Lord willing, it was edifying. So with that, I'd like to give all the honor, the praise, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Barak HaKodash. Shalom.